Hi Year 6, here I am again with your literacy video for week 4. Now you've probably noticed that I'm in some very familiar surroundings. I am indeed in my classroom. It was my turn this week to come into school to teach the key worker children. And the classrooms do seem very empty and very odd that there's no one around. I'm hoping that we're all going to be together again soon in the classrooms. Okay, so this week you've got a new text and it's a really beautiful one. It's actually called Mama Miti, there it is there. Mama Miti, Wangari Maathai and the Trees of Kenya. Okay, once again, you'll be able to find the document in your Purple Mash account. By now, you should all know where it is. It is arranged in 5 days, just like the previous ones are. As always, the first day you will read the beginning extract, which I'm going to read to you now, and look at the illustration. Here it is there. Okay, and it says, on the highlands of Africa, near forests and plains, and a huge salt lick, Wangari was born. The face of Mount Kenya smiled down on her. People told stories of how in the old days sometimes the sun shone too bright, too long, and droughts came. Creatures suffered, plants wilted, people fought. So the men held ceremonies under the Mugono, the spreading sacred fig tree, and the skies blessed them with shimmering rains to shake their thirst and water their farms. Village elders placed staffs from the fig tree between angry men, and enemies became friends. Wangari listened to these stories. That's how she came to love and respect trees. That's how she came to be wise in the tradition of her family and village, of her country and continent. And there you go. So I would suggest that you read that again once more to yourselves to be able to answer the questions on day 1. If there are some words that you're not sure of the meanings of, please use a dictionary, look them up online, and write down the meanings on your work as well so that you start developing a vocabulary book for them. I want you to think about where the story has been set. Where was she born? What do you already know about Kenya and about the continent of Africa? Do you know what a salt lick is and what happens there? There are quite a few questions for day 1. So I'd like you to answer those questions in full sentences. On day 2, as always, it is an illustration activity. However, I'd really like to see some beautiful collages. So again, it asks you to think again about the environment that's described in the story. Thinking about the forests, the plains, the mountains. We want you to think about what the sky is like. You can sketch out your ideas, but then look at the illustration that comes with the text. So look at that illustration. Okay, and this obviously shows up a close-up view of the landscape. Think about it as a wider landscape, and we'd like you to create a beautiful collage. It could be out of newspapers, magazines, even material, any cloth that you might have, any different scraps of paper, wrapping paper, any type of material that you want to use, and start putting together a landscape of where you think this might be set, and think about the features of a landscape. Obviously, you've got the plains, you've got the mountains, some will be higher than others. And we're looking forward to seeing those as well. So nice, beautiful collage. On day 3, we'd like you to think about those questions that are in your document. So thinking about some of the phrases that the author has used, thinking about the fig tree, think about what we know about the fig tree. And we can see that right at the very end, Wangari tells us that she listens to these stories about trees and she grows to love trees with all her heart. As an extra activity, what I'd like everybody to do is choose one of their favourite trees that we have right here in the UK, and I'd like you to write a letter to Wangari describing your favourite tree to her. So really thinking about what you know about the tree, what it looks like, whether it blossoms, whether it has any fruit, what your favourite thing is about the tree, really describing to Wangari why you love your tree and why she should love that tree as well, okay? On day 4, it's again using your imaginations, but this time thinking about the importance of water and thinking about why water is really necessary for all forms of life, how you use water, thinking about why is it dangerous if we have droughts, what does it affect, who does it affect. There are some questions there for day 4. I'd like you to answer them again in full sentences. And finally, day 5, we are looking for some fantastic examples of persuasive writing here. We would like you to think about the different ways that we can work to preserve water in our homes, in our schools, in our everyday life. And we want you to encourage people who are listening to you to be careful about how they use water, okay? So we want you to be telling people about what they could do. And that way, you're going to have to be quite persuasive. And I want you to think back to when we've done some persuasive writing in our classes before, where we're using words and phrases that really make the listener really feel something about what you're saying. You really want to try and persuade the listener what it is that you want them to believe in. And we want you to use some of those fantastic rhetorical questions that we've talked about, those modal verbs like surely, you must, and you should, you could do this. So really thinking about that persuasive language. Now you could have a PowerPoint presenting your ideas. You could have a speech. You could have a poster, but it has to be persuasive. And I'd like to see some of those persuasive features that we've talked about before. Now, as always, I'm looking forward to you uploading your literacy work. So it could be two different activities of your choice. One, writing, one other. There is quite a lot of writing this week. I would like to see everybody try at least to upload at least 2 pieces. Can I just say a massive thank you to those children that have already uploaded work from our previous units. I've seen some fantastic examples of writing, and so has Mr. Farrow. And I look forward to seeing your work this week as well. Hope you're all staying safe. Hope you're all well. Good luck. Bye.